guys, welcome back to Days of Darkness, and welcome to my review of Your Next. This came out in 2011, and this was requested by my friend Emily. Emily, thank you so much for the awesome recommendation. This movie came out in 2011. It's starring hold on, this is a hard one. Sharni Vinson, A.J. Bowen, Nicholas Tucci, and was directed by Adam Wingard. Now, I saw this one for the first time in 2011. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't really, I didn't really recognize how fucking solid this movie was, though, and so I just kind of let it subside in my head for the longest time. And I was going on one of my DVD binges where I just go and buy a bunch of fucking movies. And I saw this one on the shelf, and I remember enjoying it. And so I was like, fuck it, and picked it up. And until Emily requested this, I had not seen this movie since 2011. So I was very excited to revisit it and pop it in. And holy shit. What we have here essentially is a really, really solid slasher. Like, just a really fun slasher with a really good story. Like, it's a trope in slashers, and it's not always true. In fact, I would argue that a lot of it is false. That people say, "Oh, well, there's no story, and it's just a bunch of kills," which is not true. I'm not saying all slashers have the strongest story in the world, but as far as that's concerned, this one definitely has a very, very strong story, especially for modern day slashers. And yeah, you get some really solid performances. Sharni Vinson, who plays Erin, is really good in this, and she's a great final girl. And I'll get more into why I enjoy her character so much. But other than her, everyone really delivers a solid performance. Everyone does their job very well. Even Drake, who is a very annoying character, but not in a way that you like. He is portrayed very well, is what I'm meaning to say, and that's the case with a lot of these characters. A lot of these characters are very annoying, but they're meant to be that way. It's not on accident at all. But I don't want to ramble too long without getting in the spoilers, because then I'm just gonna be trying to dance around the spoilers, and you guys know I love spoiling movies, so I'm not gonna waste any more time. I definitely recommend this, though, if you want to watch the movie before you watch the spoiler section. Absolutely pick this one up. I don't know where it is on any type of on-demand, Netflix or Hulu or anything like that. I'm sure it's somewhere on one of those. But if not, fuck man, just pick it up on DVD. It's worth it. DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, whatever the fuck. But anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling, guys. Let's just get into the spoiler section, and let's spoil the shit out of this movie. Alright, spoiler time. Your ass has been warned. Now, the first thing we get right as soon as we drop into this movie is just fucking, just straight up. Immediately, as like the first thing we get. It's very jarring. And yeah, it's a much older man and a college age girl, and it's established later, a little bit later in the film, after they meet their grisly demises, that it was a college professor and he left his wife for a student. So that's pretty saucy. I just think that was a fun little detail that they threw in to explain why this man is significantly older than this woman. But no. So they the guy wraps it up, and pretty quick, and the girl's none too pleased. So he gets up off of her and goes to take a shower. So she turns on some music, and I always really like when horror films have very upbeat music to go along with very dark material. It's a little thing, but it can make a huge difference, and I really like that. I like that little touch. I do not know the name of the song, and I actually kind of wanted to look it up after I get done recording this, because I actually dig it. I think it's a cool song. But so she gets killed off camera, and the guy gets done with his shower, comes out, and is just looking around for her, and sees he goes over to his back door, like one of those sliding glass doors, and he just sees, and it's the coolest title card ever, or one of the coolest title cards ever, and it's just you just get a bloody "You're Next" painted on the window. Just a little stickler for detail. It's a little weird because he would have seen that backwards the way he was looking at it, but that's a little nitpick, bitchy little detail that I have. But nonetheless, it's a really cool, unique title card, and he looks down, sees her all cut to shit, and then we get his death, which is also off screen. We get a little blood splatter on the window, and that is it. Now, I was kind of concerned because, like I said, I haven't watched this movie in almost 10 years, which makes me feel very old. But yeah, so I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I'm like, oh, is all this gonna be kind of, kind of lighter on the gore side of things? I think we all know by now I really like my blood in my guts, but needless to say, Your Next definitely proves my fears to be invalid later on in the film. But nonetheless, cutaway kills or not, still a really, really cool opening to this movie. And it has some significance too when you really wrap your head around the story and the twist and all that. So then we get introduced to the family. This is mainly made up of let's see, one, two, three, four, about 5 couples. You get our main 2 characters, really our main character, who's Aaron, who's played by Sharni. I don't know why I have a hard time with that one. Sharni Vinson and her boyfriend Crispin. Ooh, excuse me. But she's a really, really cool final girl. I really like her a lot. Just to well, I'll get on her a little bit later. But her so they're going up to this house to basically meet Crispin's family for the first time. At least Aaron is, and this family hasn't been together for a very long time. You can just tell. Very awkward. Very you kind of wonder why exactly they kind of drifted apart. It may have been established in the film, and it just went over my head. But to my knowledge, you really don't get a whole lot of why they haven't been together for a really long time. But nonetheless, you also get Felix and Z, who play a pretty pivotal role in this. And Z is, hey, just saying, she's really, really, really weird and freaky, but it's kind of my thing. So I like Z. And her boyfriend Felix is also portrayed very well by Nicholas Tucci. And then you get Drake and Kelly, which Drake is like you can kind of tell he was like the varsity kid, and like he's very jockey, always picking on Crispin, who's a little chunky, he's a little chubby, and even now as full-grown adults, he still feels the need to give him shit about it, which again leads into why he's so fucking annoying. And I can't blame I keep wanting to call him Crispin, for wanting to rip his fucking head off, because I probably would too. Then you get Amy and Tyreek, and then who are probably the most minor characters, the most minor couple. And then you get Paul and Aubrey. So you get a good amount of people, which equals a very, very high body count, which I always enjoy. I really like the family dynamic here. It makes the kills mean more. We'll get into this more in the kill of the film section, but this movie gets fucking brutal. It gets very, very, very violent. And so, in any other slasher where it's just campers or, people in an asylum or what have you, the deaths don't really mean as much. Not saying they're not impactful, but when you have a family setting where all the family, rather they, kind of fucking up my display there a little bit, but when you have a family setting where everyone knows and loves each other, there's a little tension in the family, obviously, but there's still a lot of emotional significance when one of them is killed off, and you get a lot of it means more. So I really, really like the angle that this movie takes with that. For instance, when the first actual family member dies. You get one kill before that. Tariq gets an arrow right through his fucking head, and that's like it just comes out of nowhere. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, and then you get, so everyone just freaks out when he dies, but then his girlfriend Amy, who is a part of that family, dies, and you immediately, it's a fucking brutal kill. We'll get more into it with the kill of the film, but when she does die, it's just, it's, you feel it, you know, and especially the mom, who's like about ready to fucking keel over, which she won't have to won't have to worry about that later on. But I just, you know, I'm gonna ramble a lot about that, but I really really like that. It just makes everything much more significant. And Erin, I will go into a little more about her character. Really really like this final girl. There's a narrative that, you know, not a narrative. There are people who are a fan of this genre who get annoyed by weak final girls, which I can take it either or. Like I don't need all my final girls to be super fucking badass macho ladies. But when it does happen, I think it's cool. I think different actresses can portray a different type of final girl very well. For instance, Jamie Lee Curtis, I would not define her as a strong female character whatsoever. She's just a scared kid, essentially, and that's understandable. Who wouldn't be in that situation in the movie Halloween? Uh, but in this situation, Erin has been exposed to a lot of gnarly shit. Not like a tortured past or anything, but she grew up. It is revealed later on that she grew up in a oh, what the hell is it called? Like a compound. It was a survivalist compound. That's the word I'm looking for. She grew up on a survivalist compound, so she has been raised to adapt like that, like very quick to violent or threatening situations. And the killers in this movie did not expect that, and they are in just as much danger as the protagonists are. So I really really like I said, I don't need all my final girls to be macho badasses, and I don't need all my final girls to be, you know, cry, scream, and run. You know, I think both can be done very well, and both have been done very well multiple times. I don't know why the fuck that's messing up. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore that. But moving on. I just to end off on that, I really really like Erin. I think she's a really cool final girl, and if for some reason I ever do a top 10 final girls or whatever in movies, she will more than likely be on that list. And I really wish we got a follow up to this, but I don't really know. At the same time, I don't really know where you would go from here. But that's just how much I like her character. So, anyways, then we get into the twist. The twist in this film. So, essentially, what this is presented as upon first viewing is three maniacs in different animal masks. Very creepy. I love the killers in this film. I really like the look of them, and I like how they're hunters. They're not just, you know, I love me, a maniac running around with an axe. Nothing wrong with that. Love that stuff dearly. But I love that these guys are like actual fucking hunters. Like they're hunting these people down like cattle, pretty much, which is cool, you know. And why would that be cool? Because I'm a fucking sicko. What do you mean? But it is revealed that they were actually hired by. At first, it is revealed that Felix and Z hired them to basically kill off the parents and the siblings, and not only them, but anyone else in the surrounding area who could possibly be a witness or have some sort of testimony or anything like that. And the whole reason is because they want to gather their inheritance, the family's inheritance, because by the look of this house and by the way they're all dressed and their jobs and all that, they are all very, very wealthy people. So they, Felix and Z definitely want some of that cheddar, and they actually want all of it. But they're not the only ones in on that, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But it's really cool because looking at it on this, watching it on this go around, I already knew what the twist was, which was a shame. But so I made it a point to look out for any sort of indicators, and there's a lot of indicators as to them being like kind of weird. I mean, Z is already a fucking weirdo, anyways. But you definitely get a little bit of it becomes very apparent upon your second watch that okay, there is something going on. There's little hints towards it. I love how subtle it is, though. Like if you don't know the twist, you're not gonna know. You're just not gonna know. It's like any bad decision. People always bitch about the stupid decisions people make in horror movies. Those are all brought on by either Felix or Z or the other person involved in this. I'm doing a bad job of keeping it, but but no, they're very conniving and very manipulative, and they basically are responsible for luring all their family members or all of Felix's family members to their deaths, which is a pretty cool twist. I think it was really, really well done, and that's not the only twist, and that the third person involved in this is actually Crispin. That's right, your boyfriend of the final girl is revealed, and it was kind of weird because he kind of runs off halfway through the movie to go get help, and it's revealed later that he just ran off. He calls Felix's phone, who has now been killed by this point, and he's just like, "Hey man, I can't deal with the violent shit. I mean, I just want to get the money and let's get this over with." And it's funny because if the person listening to that is Aaron, who is none too pleased with him, and so he comes back and basically just bullshits her and like, "Oh, we were never gonna hurt you," and yada yada yada, and you can have all this money, and she ain't having none of it. She fucking kills the shit out of this dude. Just stabs him right in the fucking neck and then right in the fucking eye. And I love the ending of this too because she actually sets up a Home Alone-esque trap, a grisly Home Alone-esque trap of an axe just swinging. If someone opens the door, an axe will just swing right into their fucking head, and then a cop comes in and triggers that trap unintentionally. But really cool little fun ending to this, and I love how this basically establishes that Aaron's going to be the main suspect. I mean, you have all these people dead around the fucking house. How is she not going to be questioned and suspected of committing these crimes? But ooh, got something in my fucking eye. Anyways. But yeah, really cool ending, and I appreciate that it's one of those slashers that kind of it's not a bad ending, it's not a sad ending. The final girl makes it, she gets her revenge and yada yada yada. But it does establish it's like, hey, she might be in for some shit. But also you gotta take into account the three guys who are in military gear and have fucking weapons on them, and I don't know. I don't think she would really have too hard of a time getting out of it, but like I said, I really want to see a follow-up to her character. Someone write a fan fiction or some shit like that. Someone's gonna take that out of context and write some weird shit. Never mind, don't do it. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the spoiler section portion. Let's just get right into the kill of the film. I can't wait. This movie is fucking bloody and gory as shit, and I can't wait to talk about it. Let's get into the kill of the film. Man, I got so excited I kind of spoiled how bloody and gory this fucking movie is, but damn, I love the kills in this film. They're all really, really cool, really solid. You get those two off-screen kills in the beginning, which is, but hey, after all the carnage candy we get in this, it's kind of hard to bitch about that. But just some honorable mentions. I mean, we get, I guess, probably the tamest one, if you want to even call it tame would be we do get a just a pretty quick throat slash of the dad of Paul. But still a cool, impactful kill, especially because that's kind of the reveal that Felix and Z are behind all of this, and you later find out Crispin is as well. But you kind of you get just this very empathetic, um, he's like coming towards his son like help me, and his son's like fucking get off me. It's just like holy shit. Don't bleed on me, Dad. And he's like, did you really have to do that in front of me, dude? You do get Felix actually killing Drake. Drake actually gets an arrow in his back earlier on in the film, which leads to some unintentional comedy, which I will leave for your surprise. But there's definitely some fun stuff going on. But so he's already kind of fucked up, and then Felix he just repeatedly stabs him with they're in the basement, so he stabs him with screwdrivers and different tools and shit like that. And he's like, why don't you just fucking die? This is hard enough for me, which I really actually like that little detail because it establishes yeah, he's a fuckhead, he's an asshole, and he's doing this for money, but this is his family, and there is a degree of difficulty here. Obviously not a whole lot because he still fucking goes through with it, but I do like that realistic take that, hey, this is not fucking easy for him, Crispin kind of has a different approach to it. He doesn't seem as heartbroken that his family's dead. He seems to really not like his family all that much, including Felix and, well, not Z, because Z's really not part of his family, but you feel me. But Felix definitely establishes that he is not too keen on the whole killing his family part, but he doesn't let it really stop him. Anyways, lots of other cool shit. It's a cutaway kill, but the end result is pretty cool. You get the mom who they just find her with she's in her bed with just a machete just sticking out of her fucking face. And, they did their trademark, "You're next," painted all across the wall and shit. And really, really fucking cool, grisly imagery there. I really like that one. Probably my runner-up would be actually Amy's death, which happens pretty early on in this whole catastrophe. Amy is like, okay, I'm gonna go run because I think she established she's was a track and field star in high school, which I mean, it seems like high school was a little long ago. Hopefully she's still up to date on it, but she seems pretty confident that she can outrun the killers and go get help. So, and of course, Felix is the one who recommends that she, or is it Z? One of them recommends that she goes and runs and gets help. And so the reason it's my runner-up is because I don't really like how it was shot, and I don't like how it comes off in the film, because leading up to her running, which, just to give it away, she runs out of the door and there's a razor wire that's just strung up, when the door opens, this wire just and she cuts her fucking neck open, and really bloody, brutal, fucking gross kill. You see the hole in her neck and everything. It kind of reminds me of the high tension kill where the mom's just but God, I'm fucking weird. Anyways, but yeah, so it's a cool kill, but leading up to her running, it's all in slow motion, and it's very, there's just a lot of dread in it, and you can just tell something is going to happen. I really would have liked a different approach to where she just gets ready, runs out, and then boom, it's. I really wish they treated it as just a normal nothing part of the movie, and then bam, just throat gets cut out of nowhere. I think that would have elevated the kill a lot for me. That's just my own personal feelings. It sounds like I'm dogging on it. I'm really not. It's a fucking great kill. But I'm going to personally give and also before I get to that, all of the killers in this, because like I said, they're in just as much trouble as the protagonists are, because Aaron is a fucking badass. There's one, the first guy gets killed, very squishy death. She grabs some sort of uh, ornament, or she grabs some sort of decoration or something and just bashes this fucking guy's head in, and you can hear it's all squishy and shit. Very gross, but I appreciate that stuff. But anyways, my personal kill of the film is going to go to Felix's death. That's right, Aaron actually perpetrates my kill of the film, which is unique. You don't get the final girl getting the kill of the film a lot. Which is actually not the first time that's happened on this channel. In Friday the 13th, Alice's beheading of Mrs. Voorhees also got that very rare honor. But here we go again. So Aaron kind of just finds out that Felix and Z are behind this. She does not know yet Crispin is involved. And she basically takes them on 2-on-1. And she kills Felix first by taking the top off of a blender so it's just the blade. And she fucking sticks it in his head and turns it on and scrambles this dude's brains. And you get blood fucking squirting out of his head and shit. I love unique, weird, cool kills like that, and it was done so well. And then Z gets a fucking knife just like right in her head, which is a literal cherry on top of that scene. But it can't beat it cannot beat Felix's kill, just getting his brains fucking scrambled. Absolutely adore that kill, and that is my kill of the film. Well, guys, that'll do it for your next. Emily, thank you once again for recommending this. I really had a blast watching this one again since it's been so long. Next time we're going to get into part 4 of the Friday the 13th franchise. And get excited, guys, because fun fact, just going to let you know right now, that is my absolute 100% favorite entry in the Friday the 13th franchise. So I'm very, very excited to get into it. But alright, guys, that'll do it for now. Take care of each other, stay safe, keep watching horror. Alright, guys, peace.